Hi there, we're in the home of Tom VanHoose, the leading authority on archtop guitars. And we're doing an interview with Tom tonight about our favorite subject, archtop guitars. And we hope to lead you through an informative discussion in the next few minutes, and we hope you'll stay with us for this segment. Tom, let's talk about what got you started in archtop guitars. Now, you're a young man that started out playing rock and roll.
When I was young, I did play rock and roll, that's true, and I still do.
Did you start off with a hollow body or with a solid body guitar?
First guitar I owned was a Gibson Melody Maker that I bought at my local music store in Abilene, Texas, a used one, and played it in college and quickly became bitten by the surf bug. And of course, what were people playing? They were playing Fenders, right?
Right.
So I traded in my mother's piano when we were moving and my Melody Maker even for a '63 Fender Stratocaster, brown case, sunburst, which I then used for, probably 3 years while I was in college. And I graduated from playing surf music with that to playing early rock and roll with it. And then I got bitten pretty hard by Chuck Berry, B.B. King, and Freddie King, all to various degrees, and I loved their music. So once again, I went to the record shops and looked at the record jackets to see what the guys were playing, and they were playing red Gibson thin line guitars, 335s or 345s, 355s. And as luck would have it, one of my classmates down at University of Texas at Austin had a '62 ES 355 stereo guitar that he wanted to trade for a Telecaster.
Oh, man.
So we worked a deal, and I paid him $450 for the guitar, and it was just perfect. I mean, he bought it brand new there in Austin at J.R. Reed's, and I still have it.
Well, we get to see that in a few minutes, don't we?
Yes.
Good. When you made the transition, though, from the ES 355 to the archtops, when did that happen, and what brought that about?
That came about in late '60s, early '70s, after I'd finished my undergraduate degree and my master's degree in psychology, and I was up here in Dallas working. A friend of mine, actually, when I was still down at UT, took me to listen to some records. Took me to a record store and said, look, I want you to listen to this guy, Freddie King, on an instrumental album. I want you to listen to this other guy, which turned out to be Kenny Burrell. And it was a Kenny Burrell album with Jimmy Smith, with some collaborations of theirs, and there was a little picture there of him playing a Super 400. And I said, wow, what's that? I had never seen a guitar like that.
Right.
And I listened and listened and listened, and I had the red Gibson, of course, but I had to have that Super 400 because, of course, Kenny Burrell played one, and I figured if I can play one like him, it'll make me a better musician, and so forth. My first Super 4 I got in graduate school, which would have been 1973, 74, somewhere.
Was it a new guitar at the time?
No, it was a '67 Super 400C that I bought through the Musicians Union paper. It came from my little town in Pennsylvania.
What did you pay for the guitar back then?
I think it was like $650, something like that. The guitar show phenomenon was just starting. 1978 was the first Dallas Guitar Show, and by that time I had, I think, 3 or 4 acoustics and electrics and a Johnny Smith and the 355. So I had this little collection of 4 or 5 guitars. And I began to notice differences as the guitars went back in time. That is, the older guitars, even though they looked similar, actually were made somewhat differently. The craftsmanship was different. They were designed for different things. And so I set out over the years by going to guitar shows, meeting friends, and corresponding with folks to buy different types of Super 400s. And from that journey came the idea of the book to tell the history of that particular type of instrument.
And when we come back, we'll get to hear Dr. VanHoose play his 1939 Super 400 restored from the flood.
Listen to that system. And this, remember, this thing was in a world of hurt when I got it.
That sounds wonderful. This is the book. This is the Gibson Super 400, The Art of the Fine Guitar. This is the author, Dr. Tom VanHoose. This is the guitar that's pictured in the book. Tell us a little bit about that guitar, Tom.
We're closing our interview now with the future of the archtop guitar. Here in my chair is the Monteleone Quattraport, which in many ways represents the future of the archtop, or where the design elements are going. From the oval sound hole to the side holes in the rim of the guitar that let the musician hear his music that he creates immediately, to the types of finishes and woods that are used. These are some of the elements that show us where the archtop is headed into the future. In some ways it's going back to its acoustic roots, but with more power and more versatile expression than it's ever had before. I think for the archtop lovers and enthusiasts this is a great time, and that we have such a wide variety of excellent builders, both factory and individual, that our choices are almost limitless. It's a great time for archtop guitars and for the music they make.
Once again, take me to paradise. Guess I've reached my destination, and it's simple to see that I haven't traveled very far. I must have found the very place that most appeals to me. It's nearly everywhere you are. Well, I don't have to ride on the rings around Saturn, explore the whole Milky Way. I don't need to help and go raise the Titanic. I guess that I'd just rather stay right here in paradise. 'Cause when you're holding me real tight, it's just like paradise. When you hold me in your arms, it's like paradise.